Alright guys, today I'm going to use the CO2 tank with the remote line and the same 3.7 gram salt kinetic impact rounds. So I'm going to be using these salt supply impact rounds. I'm going to use the S2, salt supply S2, the TR68, and the HDB. And I'm using these because they have the ability right now to use the remote line and this 20 ounce CO2 tank. I've already shot about 100 rounds through this. It's probably like 67 out here right now. So this might not be ideal conditions, but it's good enough. I'm gonna pause the video and then load up the S2 and charge it and stuff. All right, so I got it loaded up, it's charged. I have my chronograph right here ready to go. And yesterday when I did the HPA tank, my HPA tank, it was full, but it only does like 850 psi. CO2 tank isn't regulated. It's kind of more dependent on weather and stuff. So like I said, it's about 68 degrees, 67 degrees. I'm gonna fire right now. I'm gonna write down all these values on this paper I have. Let me just get that out of the way. It's underneath the camera right here. So yeah, I have a paper just like yesterday with all the names of the markers I'm using, the weight of the ball, and then I'm gonna write like CO2, 20 ounce CO2 tank. So here we go, salt supply, 3.7 gram salt impact rounds. 346. Next shot. 348. So I'm gonna still try this when it's warmer, because right now it's like end of spring, summer's coming up. Where I live, it gets like 80 degrees plus in the summertime. Third shot. 346. So yeah, it'll, like, I'm gonna have days where it's like 90 degrees, 100 degrees. It's not gonna be cool, but I just got to wait for the weather to get better. Fourth shot. 350. And these are not going, like, I'm not having a nosedive on the FPS because I'm using this giant tank and it has way more CO2 than the little 12 gram that would normally go in this. So last shot. 346. Plus I just have oil, like I just oiled up everything, so that might play a factor. So that was 5 shots with the S2. Here's all the FPS readings. So yeah, it says 3.7 gram salt impacts, FPS. I'm going to load up the T4E revolver and then use the salt rounds and then do a second magazine and use the 10.9 gram riot balls. So I'm going to pause the video and then start up again in a second. Alright you guys, TR68's loaded, has pressure, the little buttons out. I'm going to do the salt supply impact rounds, the 3.7 gram salt impact rounds, and then I'm going to do the 11 gram riot balls. And then yeah, I'm going to write down all these numbers and stuff. So here's the first shot. 424. So that was pretty much the same as the HPA yesterday, the HPA tank I hooked up to this. The only one that has been different so far is the salt supply. It was kind of like low. It was reading like 260, 265. So here's the next shot with the TR68. 408. Next shot. 400. So if this keeps getting lower, it's either cold or this tank is running out of air. But I'll see. I'll just keep doing this. So fourth shot. 410. So that's a good sign. It's not, tank isn't dying yet. And final shot with the 3.7 gram salt rounds. 402. Okay, I'm gonna switch out the magazine. I already have the they're like 10.9 grams. I did a weighing video a while back on these, and they're kind of inconsistent. They had them. I've only done 2 weighing videos, and these ones were the most. They had the most difference between the heaviest ball and the lightest ball. But anyways, 10.9 gram, 10.9 gram Wyatt balls. They're like metal core with a rubber shell. I'm gonna spray the inside of the TR68 really quick with oil, the barrel. One second. All right, it's all oiled up. I'm doing the barrel just so the balls come out easier. I've shot these out of this before, but I just don't want to have any jams in the barrel. So 10.9 gram Riot balls. $260. So $260. Next shot. $258. Next shot. $264. Next shot. $250. Last shot. $264. So that I got 2 of them at $264, and I'll show you the paper right now. So this was the 3.7 gram salt impact rounds. Here's the FPS. This one was similar to yesterday with the HPA tank. These were a little lower. That's 402. It's kind of messed up. And then this is the 10.9 gram Riot Ball FPS. So I had 2 that were the same. This was the low one, and these 2 were the high ones, but they're relatively the same. Like they're only off by about 14. Yeah, 250 to 264 is only 14 FPS off, so that's not bad. I'm going to switch out the TR68 and attach the CO2 tank to the HDB shotgun and use the 3.7 gram Riot balls. Alright, you guys, got this thing loaded up, it's charged. I have the 3.7 gram Riot ball in here, and same thing, just getting chrono readings and writing them down on a piece of paper. $530. Next shot. $524. Next shot. $524. Next shot. $524. And last shot. 512. So that was the slowest, and I don't know if it has to do with the temperature or the fact that the CO2 tank has had about 120 shots, give or take, taken out of it now. So yeah, I'll just do a recap really quick of all this. So I have the Chrono, the salt magazine. I'm gonna depressurize this really quick just so I don't cause it any extra wear and tear on the HDB. Alright. Tank pressure's off. I'm just gonna fire this into the grass. There's nothing in here. Okay, I'm gonna depressurize the back of the marker with the button. Alright, disconnected the line. Okay, so it was almost the same as the HPA tank, but a little bit lower, and that could be due to the fact that this tank has had so much shots fired out of it already. Plus, it's not that warm out here. I mean, it's kind of warm, but it's not like super warm. So I think yesterday the highest I got on the HPA with the shotgun, the HDB shotgun, I believe it was 564 or 558, something like that. It was higher than this, but not that much higher. And this was the same as yesterday, but these other shots were a little bit lower. And I never did the 10.9 gram riot balls with the HPA tank yesterday. I kind of ran out of time, and I was just kind of doing like too much at once. So 10.9 gram riot balls with the revolver, so that's not bad. And then this was the Salt Supply S2. So the CO2 tank performed the same so far as the 12 gram CO2 cartridges, but there was no dip in these shots. So when I had the 12 gram CO2 cartridge, the first two shots were like 350 and 352, and then it went down to like 326 or something like that, 326 or like 310. It started nosediving after, like, well, not nosediving, but it started going lower after the fifth shot on the little CO2 cartridge. But yeah, like I said, this thing, when it was full, it's roughly like 550 grams of CO2. So there's not really, it's like a bottomless pit, kind of. Like, the marker can use as much gas as it wants to. And just a size comparison with the S2 and the TR68. So the TR68 is big, like it's really big. You can't conceal that. $115. It does work well. I've only had it an issue with it like once, I believe, where it didn't want to fire. But the salt gun, like from this handle to the barrel, it's about 3.5 inches shorter, maybe almost 4 inches shorter. So the TR68 is, you know, from yesterday's joule numbers, it was doing 30 joules, but it's huge, and you have to pull the pin out the back. If you don't pull that restrictor out the back, you're only getting like 7 joules with this, which is really bad, like super weak. And this out the box, you know, mods or anything, you're getting 21 to 20 joules. And it's double the price of this, but for 230 to 30 bucks, it's not bad. Considering the Burna SD it's only doing like 13 or 12 joules, and it costs almost double what this costs. It's smaller and it's more concealable, the Burna SD. But if you want power and a little bit bigger, then I would go with this. And if you know, maybe you can conceal this if you're a big guy. I'm not that big. This thing definitely, if you'd have to be like 7 foot tall and like Shaq or something, 7 foot tall, 300 pounds plus, to be able to sort of conceal that. So this would be better just to have at your house somewhere, like, or in the garage or something like that. This, you could throw it in a bag. Maybe you can do a waist, the waist holder, like a holster. And obviously you can't conceal this, but this does do a lot of damage. And the only thing I've done to this was I pulled the valve restrictor out of this. I don't have a power kit in here, and I haven't changed any springs or switched out the barrel or anything. Same with this. I've only pulled the restrictor out. I don't have the power kit with the firing pin and the little CO2 thingy. I don't have a different barrel, no springs, no switched out, nothing switched out, just the valve restrictor pulled and the valve restrictor pulled. And this is stock, aside from using the MCS tank adapter. This is all stock. I basically it's just out of the box. That's how strong it hits. So yeah, it's consistent too. So I do like this a lot. I've had issues with these firing, like where they don't want to fire, or it wants to load 2 balls. Specifically in this one, it wants to load 2 balls down the barrel, and I either get a blockage where it's trying to fire 2 balls at the same time, and that can't go forward because the second ball not in the barrel is getting stuck in between the barrel and this it's getting stuck like right here, and it can't push through because it's trying to load up the ball in the barrel and the following, like the next one. So that's the only issue I've had with this marker. Aside from that, it's shot every single time, and this one's only not fired once, but it's overall they're reliable. I haven't had any like major issues with them, and they're really easy to modify because the only thing I've done is just pulled the valve block out of both of these. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to keep firing this until I have a noticeable downgrade in FPS and stuff. I'm going to keep using this guy, and once I go to the store and refill that, and possibly my HPA tank, which could be like in a week or two, just depends how much I shoot, that's when I'll get my TCR, the Burna TCR, and take it apart probably at the store and ask them if I could check to see if the Tip-X remote line adapter fits in the valve regulator of the TCR. But until then, I'm probably just going to keep messing with the velocity adjustment on the Burna TCR and just getting FPS readings and stuff until I start having issues with the pressure relief valve degassing because there's too much pressure in there, or if I have any issues like that at all. So yeah, until the next video, might be a couple days, it might be tomorrow, I don't know. Have a good one. All right, you guys, I just finished doing all the calculations on this. So this is a 3.7 gram salt impact round. This is the feet per second, and this is the joules, 20.6 joules, 348, 20.8 joules, 346, 20.6 joules, 350, 21.1 joules, 346, 20.6 joules, and this was on the 20-ounce CO2 tank with the remote line. The revolver, the TR68 revolver, 3.7 gram salt supply rounds, 424 FPS, 30.9 joules, 408 feet per second, 28.6 joules, 400, 27.5 joules, 410, 28.9 joules, 402, 27.8 joules. With the 10.9 gram riot balls and the revolver, the T4E revolver, 260 feet per second, 34.2 joules, 258 feet per second, 33.7, 264, 35.3, 250, 31.6, 264, 35.3. So it did perform better with the heavier ball, but also that ball is big. Like the board match is it's kind of tight to fit in that barrel, because these are around, like, they're averaging like a 691 bore size, and the salt rounds are still big, but they aren't like maxing out that barrel. So the salt rounds are 687, and the 10.9 gram steel rubber riot balls, those are 691. So they're like 4/100ths of an inch bigger. I think that's the units. It's basically so these are 0.691 bore size average usually, and then the salt ones are 0.687. So it's just a little bit bigger, but it makes a difference, and they're heavier. So yeah, it's pretty cool that it went up. The joules went up. And then the T4E HDB with 3.7 gram salt impact rounds on the CO2 tank and the remote line. These numbers overall were lower than the HPA tank, but that CO2 tank I'm using, it has 100 shots taken out of it now, probably 120 now. So 530 FPS, 48.3 joules, 524, 47.2, 524, 47.2, same. And then this one, it went down a little bit, 45.1. But yeah, I want to try this again when it's warm, and then when my tank is like topped off, and I have a scale that measures like ounces and pounds and grams and stuff. So I'll probably weigh the tank the next time I get it filled, and then every time I shoot it, I'll keep weighing the tank, and I'll have a note of how much it weighs less each time. So yeah, that 20-ounce tank, it roughly holds about 560 grams of CO2. So yeah, this will be interesting once it gets warm around here, and I can compare the HPA joules and the CO2 joules with that remote line setup. So have a good one, guys.